If you have been following my YouTube content so far, you've already understood the basic concepts of losing weight, which to summarize again is all about creating a calorie deficit, eating enough amount of protein and fiber, walking every single day, going to the gym 3 times a week, sleeping more than 7 hours on a consistent basis, drinking 3 to 4 liters of water every single day. But there is a seventh element which is very, very important, which I'm going to talk about in this video today. You see, a year is a very, very long time. It is 365 days, and a motivation, a new year resolution can only move us forward for the first couple of weeks, which is not enough to transform ourselves. Think of motivation like the battery in a petrol powered car. The battery will only start the engine, but in order to keep the engine running, we need a constant supply of fuel. The fuel required in the case of physical transformation is progress. If your goal is to lose 10 kg this year, the first 1 kg that you lose will keep you motivated for another 2 weeks. And if you are able to see a constant progress, you will be able to see a transformed version of yourself by the end of 2025. The system which helped me become fitter and healthier over the past 2 years is an OKR system. John Doerr, who is a venture capitalist and an author, has talked about this system in his book, Measure What Matters, a book which pretty much every single CEO swears by. Using this exact OKR system, Google was able to scale massively to its current state. Intel, under Andy Grove's leadership, was able to transform itself and become the largest microchip manufacturer in the world. An OKR system essentially has 2 parts. Part number 1 is an objective, which is a clear, inspiring goal that you want to achieve, and a key result, which is specific, measurable outcome that will tell you whether you are on the right path to achieve the objective or not. For example, if you're looking to lose 10 kg by the end of 2025, your OKR sheet will look something like this. So the objective would be getting fitter and healthier in 2025. This objective is not very, very clearly defined. So we'll first try to define the goal in a much clearer way. It will read something like this: achieve sustainable fat loss by losing 10 kg and building consistent fitness habits by the end of 2025. So here we are talking specifically about losing fat, 10 kgs, and building consistent fitness habits. Now, when it comes to key results, we understand that there are 2-3 key levers where we have to focus on. And these key result areas would be some of the key metrics: nutrition, activity, and rest. For metrics, we would be looking at our weight. So we will clearly write that we want to lose 10 kg by the end of this year. And we'll also be looking at body fat percentage. For example, we would want to lose a body fat of 8%, go down from 28% to 20%. Then in case of nutrition, we would be looking at tracking our calories. We will track and log calories daily for 90% of the time and increase protein intake from 0.8 gram per kg to 1.6 gram per kg by the end of this year. When it comes to activity, we will clearly mention that we want to achieve 10,000 steps daily for at least 330 days and strength train 3 times per week from February onwards. I'll explain later why I'm mentioning February and not January in this case. And for rest, we will mention that we will sleep for at least 7 hours per night for 90% time of the year. Now, this is a very good annual OKR. What we have to do now is to break this down into quarterly OKRs to ensure that we have enough short-term goals, which in turn will help us achieve that long-term annual goal that we have. Now, in quarter 1, we are going to build a strong foundation. We haven't done anything on the fitness side yet. So it's important that we take small baby steps instead of taking giant leaps in the first quarter itself. So in this quarter, we'll create a calorie deficit, we'll prioritize activity, and establish a fitness baseline. How would we do that? Let's look at what we are going to measure in terms of metrics. In terms of metrics, we will aim to lose 5 kg by March 31. So out of the 10 kgs, we will target to lose 5 kg by March 31. The reason we are targeting 50% of fat loss in the first 3 months is because we have higher amount of body fat to begin with. So losing large chunk of fat mass is much easier in the beginning. In terms of nutrition, we'll target to maintain a consistent calorie deficit of 750 calories per day and watch our protein intake and increase it to 0.8 gram per kg by March end. An easy way to achieve this is to just practice intermittent fasting. When we do intermittent fasting, we either skip breakfast or we skip dinner. By skipping one meal, we essentially bring down the overall calorie intake by 600 calories or so, provided we don't overeat in snacks, dinner, or lunch. We will use MyFitnessPal to track calories for lunch, dinner, and snacks that we are having, and just observe the amount of protein intake that we have, and then try and see how we can increase the protein content to 0.8 grams per day. In terms of activity, we'll try to target 10,000 steps every single day for 85% of this quarter. Since we are starting for the first time, we'll keep 15% buffer here. 10,000 steps is quite doable if we are able to walk during phone calls, if we walk for half an hour after lunch, and 30 to 40 minutes after dinner. And we'll begin strength training in February. The reason being that we don't want to do many things at the same time. If you're able to start on intermittent fasting and walking 10,000 steps per day, we'll see a significant drop in January itself, which will then motivate us to hit the gym. Also, this way, we are not taking too many decisions at the same time. In January, we're just doing two things, which is intermittent fasting and walking. In February, we'll start strength training. So we are taking one activity at the time while also seeing a progress on the scale. And when it comes to rest, we will target that at least 80% of the time we are able to get more than 7 hours of sleep. And now, depending on how compliant we are with these targets, we can see anywhere between 8 to 10 kgs drop in the first quarter itself. The reason I've kept 50% buffer here is that being 100% compliance is not possible. There would be days we would not be able to exercise. There would be days we would not be able to walk 10,000 steps. There would be days we would be incorrect in our calorie counting. But even if we are able to achieve 50% of the goal, that will keep us going and keep us motivated to take the next quarter challenge head on. The aim of the next quarter now would be strength and consistency. In this quarter, we'll try to have more structured fitness and nutrition practices. In terms of metrics, we will not aim such high number because we have already lost quite a lot of weight. We'll aim to lose just 2 kg this quarter. The last quarter was all about building the habit of tracking calories. In this quarter, we'll take it to the next level. The next level is tracking it accurately. And in order to track it accurately, we have to use kitchen scale so that we know how many grams of wheat we are consuming, how many grams of milk we are consuming, how many grams of rice we are consuming, and so on and so forth. Also, when it comes to protein consumption, in the last quarter, we were just trying to raise awareness, trying to understand how much of protein are we consuming on a day-to-day basis. In this quarter, we'll take it seriously and we'll take it from 0.8 gram to at least 1 gram per kg of body weight. And whey protein powders will come in handy in this quarter. Given walking has become a habit now, this time we'll aim for a higher consistency. We'll aim for achieving 10,000 steps 90% of the time and continue with our habit of strength training 3 times a week. On the sleep aspect as well, we'll aim for 85% consistency in this quarter. In quarter 3, we will enter with the aim of maintaining consistency, maintaining the progress that we have seen so far, which will be reflected in our matrices, which will be reflected in our nutrition, which will be reflected in our activity, and which will be reflected in our rest. Given we are halfway through the year, in this quarter, we can increase the calorie deficit or increase the number of steps to achieve the goal that we had set out for ourselves. The aim in the final quarter would be to transition to maintenance calorie and activity levels, which in terms of weight would be to lose the last 1 or 2 kgs which is remaining. In terms of nutrition, it would be to arrive at maintenance calories. And in this quarter, we'll aim to hit 1.6 gram of protein per kg of body weight. We'll try to achieve a higher compliance both in terms of walking and going to the gym in this quarter. Also higher compliance when it comes to rest. We should also be using this quarter to set the OKRs for the year 2026. I have talked about intermittent fasting, tracking calories, 3 days exercise routine, and the benefits of walking in separate videos. Hoping this helps. Wishing you a stronger and fitter 2025. This is Vivek signing off. Like, subscribe, share, and take care.